Hey, Happy Valley. I'm Brooke Steach, joined alongside by Zech Lambert and our third host, Seth Engle, for our final show of the summer semester. We're here to bring you the latest news from Penn State and State College.
Coming up today, we'll discuss Penn State's updated masking requirements for the fall semester.
Then we'll discuss Penn State football becoming the number one ranked recruiting class for the class of 2022.
But first, here are the latest headlines.
After tearing his ACL early in the 2020 NFL season, Saquon Barkley was seen back on the gridiron. Barkley participated in preseason practices with the New York Giants and is hopeful to play in Week 1 of the NFL season.
Penn State will implement a new e-bike sharing program at its University Park campus. 75 electric assist bicycles will be available to rent from multiple locations on campus and the surrounding State College area starting August 16th.
Some former Penn Staters earned gold medals at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. David Taylor won gold in wrestling, while Micah Hancock and Haley Washington won gold in women's volleyball.
Penn State Student Philanthropy Network opened a nomination form for the 2022 class gift. The form provides an opportunity for students to describe their proposed gift. After, quote, careful deliberation, a select few submissions, unquote, will be placed on a ballot for the class of 2022 to vote on. Coming up next, we'll discuss Penn State's updated masking requirements for the fall semester.
Welcome back. Penn State's fall semester is quickly approaching. President Eric Barron recently announced that all Penn State students will be required to wear a mask in all indoor settings, regardless of their vaccination status. Seth and Zech, what do you guys think about this decision?
I don't find it too surprising, honestly. I think everybody could see this coming. It's unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way life is going at this point. What I was most disappointed about personally as a student is that he didn't say it, or nobody said it during the town hall, which was the day before the announcement, which kind of briefed everybody on what school was going to be like this fall, and then said that if you're vaccinated, you don't need a mask. Then the next day sent out an email saying you need a mask regardless. So to me, that was just where my frustration lied. And Seth, I don't know kind of what you thought about it.
I mean, what I find most frustrating is the fact that, there are 8 Big Ten schools at this point now, with Minnesota choosing to have a vaccination mandate. 8 Big Ten schools are mandating vaccines, and Penn State is going back in time, not mandating a vaccine, but instead mandating masks, as if we don't have a solution to the coronavirus pandemic. That's my whole problem with this whole thing. And, I'm pretty sure at this point, if Barron, is confident enough, the state of Pennsylvania is confident enough to go with the mask mandate, if they think that's the way to go, then they must think that vaccines are also the way to go. I think, when it comes down to it, they were just way too late to the party, because now we're at a point where kids are going to start coming back to school this week. They don't have enough time to get their second shot. They had a whole summer to plan this out. It's not like vaccines, are just coming out right now. These have been out since we last left campus in the spring. We had a whole summer to kind of get this under control, and, they really screwed up, in my opinion. And now, the clock is ticking, so cases are rising again. So they say, oh, well, we're just going to make mask mandates a thing again, go back in time.
Yeah, I definitely see where both you guys are coming from, but I've seen a lot of comments on social media, Penn State students responding to President Barron's new mask mandate on campus. Do you guys think that students are actually going to follow this?
Yeah, I think when push comes to shove, people are going to be in class wearing their masks, because you'd rather be in class wearing a mask than be on Zoom not wearing a mask. And I don't think people are going to want to cause much of an issue. So I think that people are talking tough now, but when it actually comes down to it, people are probably going to be wearing their masks.
We'll have to wait and see how the fall semester starts out at Penn State, but up next we'll be talking about sports. Penn State football recently moved into the number one recruiting class for the class of 2022. Zech and Seth, what does this mean for the future of Penn State football?
I mean, when you look at this class, it just screams potential for Penn State football. That's what I see most of all, is really just an improvement on both sides of the ball. I mean, it's the number one class in the country, so there's not much to say about that. And I know it's all rankings, but you look at some of the names that Penn State has picked up in this offseason. Denied Dennis Sutton, Nick Singleton, Hayden Saunders. The thing that I think really stands out is that they have people who want to be a part of the Penn State football program. And they've kind of done their own recruiting on social media. That's what really made this class so unique. I think they're really just changing the culture of Penn State football and trying to bring back that, the same kind of culture they had in 2016 when they won the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, and you look at, Coach Franklin's kind of catchphrase that he's coined, dominate the state. And Penn State has done a really good job of recruiting inside of Pennsylvania this go around. And I think that's good, not only for this year, obviously, but moving forward. And Nick Singleton, you mentioned him, Seth. I think he could be possibly the best player out of this class. He recently was reevaluated to be the number 1 overall running back in the country, according to 24/7 Sports. So Penn State just doing what they do best, recruiting great running backs. We saw kind of starting around the Saquon Barkley time, got him, Miles Sanders, a bunch of big-time running backs, and Nick Singleton continuing that trend and then continuing to dominate the state of Pennsylvania has been huge for Penn State, not only in years past, but especially in this so far loaded class of 2022.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you mentioned dominating the state when you take into account the fact that Penn State only brought in 4 in-state recruits for 2021, and now that number's down to 3 with Lonnie White Jr. choosing the MLB over college football. A year later, 2022, Penn State has now brought in 10, and this recruiting cycle is not even over yet. I think that's just, a huge win for the state of Pennsylvania, Penn State as a football program, kind of just getting all these guys, these homegrown products, and really just going to work with them, because there's really no excuse, in my opinion, when it comes to recruiting. There's no other school. I mean, we've heard coaches on Penn State say this the whole offseason. There's no other place to be in the state of Pennsylvania than Penn State, if you're a homegrown talent. So I think that's a big win for them. I think it's a big win moving forward. Penn State's already picked up the number 1 interior O-lineman for 2023, Alex Birchmeyer. Also, an East Coast guy. I think they're really just trying to pick up everyone in that area and fully rebuild for the future.
Yeah, it's super exciting that they were picked as the number 1 recruiting class. I saw a bunch of love on social media from all Penn State people. So it's great to see that. And I'm excited to see how the team does this year, coming off a rough year, and for the future class, obviously.
Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Hey Happy Valley. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, and leave a comment if you want.
Thank you for watching, and remember to visit collegian.psu.edu for all the latest news.